with it, and let's go. This is 12. This is a 4 inches. It's actually a 12 gauge skirt. It's probably thicker than most people would use on a skirt. It's probably the hardest to move. 2.5 mil. The top is also 2.5. Normally I would use a 2 mil skirt. Legal requirement is 1.6. Not that anyone uses that. So keeping that roughly there. Probably should have brought earring protection. Okay. Do you want me to be hands? Yeah, that's fine. Probably do this.
Where's your bag? What do you reckon? Office match looking across the leg. Yeah. That'll make it. Can go. Oh, it's got a fluff leg back.
Now, I've only done a very small amount, and you can already, if you feel it, it's actually starting to kick out. So, these guys all know it. You want to feel that. It's 12 gauge, trust me, it's never that hard, and also, the problem with tow bars is that takes a lot of force out.
Yeah.
Now, you could always go to a bigger hammer.
Always go with a bigger hammer.
This one's obviously got much rounded edge. Not the greatest work in the world, but you don't have a workshop, and the goal here is to make it not hurt you.
Okay, you can do it on the flagpole.
Someone who doesn't have one, and you can probably see that now. It's a lot more visible. Basically, that alone will. You can bring it out a bit further. That will actually stop it driving into your neck and hurting. Really that simple. The more pronounced that curve, the worse it's going to hurt if it does. So the idea is that when your helm twists and hits your neck, rather than having that sharp bit go straight in, it's actually going to catch the flat of the metal. Right. Yes. No. What it is
I'm out.
Sorry. I do want to do a Mandalorian kit, just for the hell of it. I can call it the Polit Uni. What's happening here is I haven't actually trimmed the face back yet. And I'll do that when I put the bar grill in.
I thought it was a Mandalorian helmet too.
No, you can be.
And I don't even watch the Mandalorian.
Okay.
It's good.
Why?
That technique works about for anything. In fact, if I did it on, actually, for argument's sake, we'll do it on this one. This should hopefully be a lot quicker. Sorry.
It'll go down.
Not even
Is that so much different, the sound, because it's painted?
No, because there's less mass to it.
Yeah, less mass.
And it's thinner steel.
There's more go with it.
Yes.
And he's having to hit it a lot less harder because it's
You'll notice I'm using the original hammer, which certainly working a lot better. Again, cool. Again, just that alone will make it. Now, it's easier if you're using thinner steel, not trying to do it on a 12 gauge skirt with a tiny hammer. Obviously, not everyone's cup of tea on an e-cup. How are we going for
5 plus 2.
There you go. You got about 20
Cool.
minutes.
Might actually finish this on time even starting late. Not everyone's cup of tea. there is another way you can do things. This is my favourite. So, what we've got our makeup. This is hard. Your knee is, for lack of a better word, soft. A really great way to break that is what I call, I believe Felix calls some medium. And the idea here is what you can do is you can effectively attach some leather by riveting it through. Actually, the rivet should be over here, sorry. Basically riveting a strip, probably a folded strip in this case, of leather onto the edge of the kneecap. Okay. This also has a bonus fact is that you can then use this as a point to point onto other armour. So you have this lovely flexible point that you didn't otherwise have, so if you're doing floating knees, it's one way of doing it. But the important bit is you've got something soft. Some people will do like the leather around. It's another way of doing it, pretty easy. You can stitch that on if you want, so you know, punch a bunch of holes, but lots of holes, kind of fiddly, don't really feel like doing it. So, how to attach leather? That's something you can do. All you need is nails, clout nails, nothing special.
Arming knife.
Whatever. You can probably get away without a decent pair of, there's actually gardening shears, but they work really great for cutting leather. Hole punch, which most people as a fighter you want anyway because everyone needs a hole punch. But if you don't have one, chances are one of your mates at training will have one. Go, has anyone got a hole punch? Side cutters, although bolt cutters, like a small set of bolt cutters work a lot better, but side cutters, even as small as these, will cut through a nail.
With a lot of effort.
With a bit of effort. My trusty hammer again. If you don't have gardening shears, Stanley knife will do the job. And the cheapest cordless ruler you can find. Because we don't really need much. So, what we do, did I throw my leather in? Alright, so, take my piece of leather. This is some piece of scrap I cut off this morning because I wanted to show people what it would look like. Work out how much leather I want. So I folded it over, I don't know, 2 inches, good start. This is where my gardening shears show me they're a little bit flat.
This is deeply and visibly characteristic in the 1350s, 1340 to 1360, and then it's highly decorated, highly coloured with the leather.
Yeah.
So when you see the cotton, the better cotton, they all have exactly what they're about to do with the leather decoration.
This one there has a big scallop.
Yep, yeah. So that's what you've probably seen it for, but if you use really thicker leather,
floral engines and
Flippy pretty.
gold and yellow, whatever your hair is colour is, don't use it as colour theme as well.
so what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to quite do that, I'm going to do, rather than do something fancy, I'm going to do what I prefer, a more practical approach, just fold it over, punch a hole, put it straight through, I'll be doing this several times, have my nail, that definitely goes, specialised rivets, available at Bunnings, you can get them in stainless, you might want to put galvan, yeah.
The stainless ones need to adhere.
Yeah. These can burn the gal zinc off. Right.
I don't even bother with that.
Yeah.
I don't even bother with getting the galvanization.
I don't. Some people do. I don't. Yeah.
The other thing I'll do is
Yeah, but
Nice hitting rivet.
Yeah.
Really well. Yeah.
I'm going to put this on the side. Hell.
The hole a bit. Put it through and then into the hole and spread the covers. You don't even notice it.
So, anyone who's done any armouring will find this like, yep, Ben, thank you for pointing out the obvious, but so many people don't do this. I certainly didn't. No one told me to do this. Maybe I just had a someone do it. No, just drilling some holes so I get somewhere to the nail.
Instead of just assuming you can hammer through.
You could hammer through, but it's easier.
Well, yeah, if your steel's thin enough, you can.
But you could even do small drill holes as guide. Like
you can drill quite a hole if you need to. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're only drilling 3.2 mil holes together.
No! It's alright. I don't know where that came from. I got them like for $10. Drill bits. 20 bucks a 10 somewhere. So yeah, I'm just carefully marking what leather. Won't be there at the moment. Very much.
Sorry?
This is painful to watch, Benny. Yep. Sorry. Alright. Problem with my special rivets, sometimes they've got little bits on it that I didn't really want. Don't really help. It's squishy.
Yeah, ooh.
Going back to my specialized anvil.
Look at this.
I think his workshop's a bit cramped.
Trying not to.
Watch your eye, Nugget. There you go, you got it. Those two tend to fly.
Yeah, I tested. When I tested this in the workshop, I went, bang! Yep, keep that in mind, man. Don't have that issue with my good ones. So, you don't know how to rivet, look it up on the internet.
It's pretty good.
While he's riveting. While you're riveting.
I can explain that in a moment.
No, I got it.
Is he the leader of the
You
Greens?
can probably do that.
Okay, so what we're currently doing is we're joining Yeah, it's the same process. He's basically threading the penetrating section. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. This is old school.
Resist the urge, like, so when with rivets, they get the flat end and they go scootish kind of thing, which when you pick initially at the start of the dress, it's good, but you don't want to go and squish down, actually upsets the rivet, so it thickens the rivet. What you actually want to use is the ball peen so that you create that peen that Ellie was talking about.
Well, you do want to upset it a little, just to fill the hole.
Fill the void, but don't keep hitting it because you can. The worst thing you want to do is create an offset between the two things you're joining because they'll never come together.
Yeah.
So common mistake with rivets. And that's it. It's not the prettiest riveting, sorry. Trying to keep the bottom temper. May get little bits. Show what happens when you do it badly. It's a really bad rivet, but and as you can see now, so now like what's going to happen is that when that gets driven in, you get the leather. Right. How are we going for time? Oh. Huh? Pretty fast? Alright. Now for the last bit. Here's the easy bit. Hardened leather. Does anyone have small hands? Small what? Hands.
Yep. Potentially.
Oh.
Nope.
Try that. Put that on your left hand for a minute. So this is another thing that people do. Okay, this will make a point. So the first problem with this one is it's way too big. Okay? So what we probably should do, and I'm not going to do this because it's really easy taking it off, it's very hard to put it back on. First thing I'd probably do is take a whole bunch of material out of this, and all you need with hardened leather, go back to a little kit of crap, Stanley knife. If you don't have needle and thread, go borrow some off someone, but you can get, most of us have leather thread somewhere. But in this case, I'd probably have to cut a whole bunch of material off and restitch it for you because the cuff is way too big. But what I will do is I'll talk a bit about, like, if you've got material that's not doing anything, it's probably just going to cause problems. When I say not doing anything, there's a bit of qualification going you need to check with someone. But in your case, pop it back on your hand for a minute. So make a fist for me. Just turn around. Do you see this material here? Like, let's say that, there. You see that material there? Do you think that's actually doing anything? Do you think that's protecting you, really? No. I mean, it might look a bit different if we tightened it. So let's try a different hand for a minute. Again, make a fist. Again, actually, Ellie's hand's a lot better for this. She fits. But you see this bit here, like this here, this bit of material here, it doesn't actually, it's been made to do this because one size fits nobody. But we could very easily just trim a bit of material off here, and that means it's not going to catch on things like basket hooks as easily. Similarly, you know, up to you, I mean, it varies from different people. I don't think any of this material here is doing anything to protect the thumb. That's my opinion. Might be because it's looser. And all we need to do... Yep, I know I put it in the pocket. Feel it, put your pocket. In the case of you know, the thumb, which I will have a quick play with, do you want to buy a left-handed half-golf?
Here's perk up.
And again, with simply the Stanley knife,
Especially if it's been wax hardened.
even though this has been wax hardened, you can just cut the material up with the Stanley knife. And you can go away, what I recommend doing is putting it on with all your armour. Going, firstly, if you're going to tighten things up, do that first because that will affect all this. But again, if this isn't like being used for you and you don't see a purpose, it's not providing any protection, it's just there, have a go trying to remove it because it'll probably be causing you just possibly going to cause the armour to push it away. It might be restricting the push. And that comes back to this idea of fitting armour because this doesn't fit anybody. One size fits nobody, so make it fit you. And it's really simple. Go talk to a leather worker. There's plenty in our group. Ellie's a leather worker. I can do leather work. Foos is definitely a leather worker. Very good leather worker. Bart can do leather work, I think. Joe does leather work. Go talk to someone. We'll give you some needles and thread. All of us.
Yeah, all of us here do it, I think.
Is anyone here not a leather worker? Okay.
Come see us.
Come see us. And let's reshape this and make this fit you, because it will be a lot more comfortable if it's fitted to you. And these are things like this stuff is much easier to fit because it's floating. Things like helms, a bit harder but are fittable. One other thing with helms, if you find they're a bit tight on the side of your head, like they're catching your ears, or in case of I've certainly had issues with my helm where after a while it squishes in.
Carjack.
Carjack. I'm not going to go get mine out because it's very a whole bunch of crap. Believe it or not, carjack. That's also another simple thing to adjust your helm. Put it in, stretch it out. I did that on Sunday night for a helm that someone's like, oh, it's too tight in my ears. How's it on your forehead? Yeah, it's fine on my forehead. So it's just pressing on the side of your head. Cool. 1 minute. Got carjack out. Try it now. Helm readjusting jig.
Sometimes you can get a really high on the ground.
Oh,
Yeah, and so I'll throw my faceplate on the ground, bring it up to the side.
Like knocking them on the ground, bashing them on the ground. Definitely sort of jumped. I've jumped on things to reshape them from time to time. Is there any curiosity? Is there anything that people think I haven't covered in terms of comfort that they would have a question about?
I did make a point of that. Because some people, there's not many that will wear like a t-shirt, put it over the worker skin. So I'm very, very strong advocate of having at least one layer of something else.
Yeah.
Even if it's really hot, even when it's 35 degrees, I'll still wear an Under Armour shirt. It's still a long sleeve shirt.
Well, it helps wick up the
Absolutely.
moisture and it stops things pinching.
I wear a bit of a linen shirt or something. I wear a linen shirt in sports British gear. That's one thing I that's even for stuff that that's special. Except the hole.
Then he wears Under Armour and a white rag.
Yeah. Hey, I fixed it. It's not that raggy anymore.
Kind of threads held together by hopes and prayers.
That's the old one, right? I still got that in the workshop.
I think
Honestly, people used to say something's uncomfortable. It's more padding, some bone, anything that.
Make it fit. Make it fit.
Make it fit. Make it
Don't just pad it up.
So if it fits well, you don't need padding?
You
or
still
anything
need
like
padding,
still need
but
padding.
when a lot of times when people hear that, they seem to think, oh well, if you put more padding in it, that'll take out the gap, and therefore it'll fit better. It doesn't really fit better. You've just added more padding, and it's still too big.
Having comfortable armour that fits you is one of the biggest improvements you can make to your fighting.
Absolutely.
And that's the things like this one here. You saw how like loose it is on you. Some people say, "Was it more padding?" No.
You can do much worse armour. I think the tail is much better.
Yeah.
If the padding is superb, the armour's got more room to have tolerance.
That's too small.
Mm-hmm.
It is too little because it's pushing against my hand. Once I have a stick in my hand and it starts to spread my hand out, it's going to push against that leather and the padding, which means it's too tight. If I get hit, there's no give. So it's just going to hurt. So where on you it was really, really loose and you want to bring that in, you don't just want to put more padding because then it's just still too big.
Still wrong. Yeah.
And the mass of it is still there. Where you want it like this, I would probably open that up and add about yay much to make it fit me.
So in my head, I have what sounds like a really stupid analogy, but I think it's relevant. You put a kid into a car seat, you don't put them in a big puffy jacket because you've got to loosen the straps.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Same
That's
compression
exactly it.
issues?
Yep.
Big is just as bad as
Absolutely.
small.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you nailed it on. That's basically that is the lesson of the day. That's what how you have to think about it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Get it to be
exactly
classy.
right.
helmet side of a big helmet. So I had the stuff and added it to wore it for a year or two. And it's like, it just didn't work properly, nothing.
Probably got headaches.
Yep. Because the foam was
so
actually
much pad that
so
it
much
just
pad.
pushes.
Probably
Yeah.
couldn't feel the blows properly.
Yep.
Yeah,
And big things get in the way.
Still plays up with my calibration because I'll take the lighter than what
Yeah.
because I was overcompensating back.
No shame in taking lighter.
Tim's
Yes,
Tim's first helm, he had an extra layer. He had to put an extra layer of padding in to make it fit.
Yeah.
But then
At that point, you should probably just get a helmet that actually fits correctly. Well, yeah, but there's enough people around that can help out with that as
Yeah.
far as
So
making
On
them.
selling the one that doesn't
Too
fit.
big.
When you find the one that does fit, on sell the other one.
well, unfortunately, that wasn't an option for Tim.
Yeah,
His
got
kid.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So,
And I see a rip shot.